What up, everybody? Welcome to Coffee Hour. My name is Paul Abernathy. Thanks for joining us as we do every Wednesday at 8 a.m. Eastern Time, wherever you're at. I know out on the West Coast, you're watching rather early. I know we have you West Coasters out there. Okay, thanks for joining us. Today, we have a great show here on Coffee Hour. We're going to have a special guest. Y'all heard me talking about it all the way from Florida, still on the East Coast, but travels all over the world. With us is Vince Delle Croce, and he is part of Siemens team, and he's also on Code Panel 17 with me. He's the more active member. So I'll say that. But like always, we're going to have him with us today. So again, we're going to be talking about a specific area in Article 680. We're going to be talking about hydromassage bathtubs. Okay, so we're going to be talking about that in part 7 and getting into that. And if you have any questions that you want to ask during the show, feel free to ask, and we're more than happy to go over that. As always, hashtag win to spin to get on it. Again, remember Q3 has been rolled into Q4, so we'll be doing the drawings at the end of the year, and that way it just gives you more chances to win. Also, if you haven't done so yet, check out Fast Tracks Tube. That is our video exclusive platform. And if you're an enhanced member of our Fast Track system, you already have access to this. Just make sure you let us know to activate you and follow the instructions that are in your course. Okay. All right. With that said, let's go on and get into today. And today we're going to talk with and introduce Vince. Welcome, Vince. Glad to have you here.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. Great to be here.
So we're going to dig into, as it shows on the screen, we're going to be actually not going to be doing the black here. We're going to the next one, which is going to be the Hydromassage bathtubs. That's what we're going to be talking about today. So again, as you can see, Vince, I'm sure if you can see across the screen, you see the questions that people are asking. If they ask any questions, feel free to answer or stop me. And then from time to time, I'll put certain things up on the screen. Manny, thanks for joining us, Manny. As always, I like to do shout outs to those that join us to let them know. So I want to do a shout out. David, thanks for joining us. Glad to have you here from down in Florida, right in your neck of the woods.
Familiar names on the screen coming up.
There you
good
go.
morning, guys.
And then we got Paul. Thanks for joining us, Paul. Welcome in Houston, Texas. We got Brandon. Thanks for joining us, Brandon. Brandon's also in Houston, right? We got a lot of the Texas in the house today, so that's good. We got, let's see here, PXD Mackin. Good morning. Glad to have you here. The family is doing good. Can't complain. I woke up this morning, so that's a good start. What's up, Rob? Welcome. Thanks for joining us. Glad to have you here. And Rob's going to show everybody what you're supposed to do to get in on the spin to win. There you go. The hashtag win. That's what you have to do. Okay. Manny, good morning. Glad to have you here, Manny. Welcome to this morning's show. And he says, remember when I met you in what is that?
Thermopolis.
Is there a freaking place called Thermopolis?
There is such a place, and I was there. Okay. So yeah, I met Manny there. So yeah, good to see you. Thanks for saying hello.
There you go. Let's see here. Let's see. What is this? I want to say thank you for the fellow code nerds. Times are tough. If you're down in the dumps, reach out and someone, absolutely. Very personal thing. And again, people are struggling. Maybe you are work for the government. You're out of work right now while we're in the shutdown or whatever it is. Again, just stay firm. Anything negative in your life, think positive. You can work through it. And just keep it. Never give up. Ever, never, ever give up. Keep pressing forward. And you need to talk to somebody. Always reach out. Life is too short. It's too precious to give up on it. Let's keep going. What's up, Frank? Frank's in the house. Good morning. Glad to have you here, Frank. Skiaddle, skididdly-doo. You are with us as well. Good morning. Glad to have you here. as always. Is it Anisha? Anisha, good morning from Bangladesh.
Wow.
There you go. We're all over the globe.
Anisha, are you actually in Bangladesh physically, or you're somewhere else?
She says I'm from Bangladesh. Are you joining us from Bangladesh? And joining us from LinkedIn as well. So again, you can watch over on LinkedIn, Facebook. You can be behind the scenes on TikTok if you want. You can go to Fast Track's Tube and watch. So she's watching from LinkedIn. So we'll see, where is she from? Let's see here. Paul, are we using the 2023? We're going to be looking at the 2026 today, but again, if there's a change, it'll be maybe red or it'll be pointed out, that type of thing. But
Yeah,
we definitely will be in the 2026 today. Just looking at it.
There was too much activity at all. I don't think Verizon's so the language equals the 2023.
I think it's just some branch circuit language, just adding words, branch circuit, something instead of like the circuit or something. Maybe some little subtle changes like that, but that's it. Nothing big. What's up, Josh? Morning. Happy Wednesday to you as well, my friend. Also, folks, don't forget that we have a message board. For all of you that watch, make sure you go over to the message board. You can post pictures. It's available over on our website, fasttracksystem.com/portal, or you can just go to fasttracksystem.com and you'll see the link for the community portal. Go over there. You can post anything you want, pictures, illustrations. You can even upload YouTube videos or have it direct to YouTube videos. Maybe there's something you want us to review or me to look at and my comment on. But again, use it for your pleasure over there on fasttracksystem.com. Let's say, PXD. It's okay. That's Adam. All right, Adam French, right? Or is it Adam? Last name, right? Is it Adam French? Can't remember. I got bad memory. Let's see here. Frank, again, out in Los Angeles.
Angeles, wow. It's early.
Wow, early there.
Frank, you're up early.
There you go, Vince. You are a celebrity. You signed Manny's code book. There you go.
Yeah, don't. It's embarrassing to get asked to sign a code book.
Dude, I sign that stuff all the time. I don't care. I sign it. Big and proud too. Just all over there. Take up the whole page. There's David.
David's up. Great state of Florida. Fellow Floridian.
Richard, good morning. Glad to have you join us. Let's see here. There we go. Jonathan, good morning. Tennessee Electrician. There you go. Glad to have you. Hope all is well with you too. Everything is great here. All right. So again, as always, folks, let me know as you come in who you are, where you're from in the comments. And we appreciate you joining us this morning, or whether you're watching this in the future on a rebroadcast. Again, we appreciate you. All right, Vince. Let's talk. Let's talk, Vince. We'll go to chat here real quick. Vince, tell us a little bit about you, what you do, what you're involved in. I know it's a lot of things, but let everybody out there know what you got going on.
So I work for Siemens. I'm a business development manager for Siemens. I'm also part of the Siemens Codes and Standards team. So there's, I think we're up to 6 or 7 folks in Codes and Standards for Siemens now. So that enables me to participate in code development on code making panels. Said we're both on panel 17. I also sit on panel 15. I also sit on the 70E technical committee for electrical safety, NFPA 99 for healthcare facilities, and a couple of other NFPA standards, some UL standards technical panels. And then I'm on the road quite a bit. I do a lot of support for IAEI, what was the International Association
used to be what the
of
International Association of
what's now the Independent Alliance of the Electrical Industry. So I do a lot of their chapter level meetings, which would be state level meetings across the country, as well as section meetings that they have, and even local, monthly meetings that those folks have. But they also support NECA events, IEC events from a codes and standards perspective. So I got plenty to keep me busy.
How long have you figured you started out as an electrician too, right? It's like most of us started out as electrician.
Came through the trade like probably everyone on the phone. Then spent some time as a contractor, spent some time as an AHJ, where I am in Florida. And
that's right, because I used to come down to y'all's meetings that you have down in Florida.
Yeah. Spent a quick year and a half at a testing lab, but the last almost 9 years
God, 9 years. It's been that long.
now.
Wow.
Yeah, time's going quick.
Yep, it does. Yep, and Vince serves again with me on Code Panel 17, and Vince was also chair of the task groups, various task groups. There was three task groups, and Vince was chair of the task group. I think they focused on Article 422. I think the appliances and things like that. Um, and I don't. I'd be honest with you, Vince. I don't even remember which one I was. And I wasn't real active. I was there. I had to meet, get them right up. I had to be there based on the being there. But I think it was 680 or some of them. But again, evidence that I didn't pay attention to all of it. But at the end of the day, it's a lot of work. So even with all that other stuff that Vince is involved in, it's still we change the code every 3 years, and in that process, we have basically a year of relaxation, if you want to call it that, a break. But it's really not because we're writing our own PIs during that time anyway. So we're engaged, and then all of it starts up again and start having meetings. So we just put out the 2026, right? For those that are out there that have it, and they may not be on it yet, but there it is. It's in print. You had link, you had a little early. But guess what? Public inputs are already being accepted for the 2029, and it's going to be a little bit of a change for people in the 2029.
Yeah, and
a little bit of a look.
There's
Different
public
look.
inputs in. I don't know where I was within the last couple of weeks or who I was talking to, but they had submitted a public input, and I think their number was 124 or
Wow.
128.
So they're
So
already
there's already 100 plus PIs probably in the system for next code cycle.
so
The fun continues.
the fun continues, and I've got some that I have to put in.
I do too.
As well. So we'll get them. You got time. So if you want to be involved in the code development process, you still have time to
Yeah.
to get it done.
I think the window closes. We can look, but I think it's April next year.
I think probably like April of
2026.
2026. What's up, Rob? Glad to have you here. I see you popped into the chat. Um, so Vince, we're going to talk today. We're going to be looking at hydromassage bathtubs, and before we even look at it, I think for many people out there, one of the big distinctions. And by the way, folks, we're in the middle of recording a series on 680. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it's a very candid series. We talk about a lot of things. It's going to be a lot of video for people out there that say, well, just get to the code. I hate the banter back and forth. Then the video is not going to be for you, because the series is designed for you to be a fly on the wall in a discussion between two code panel members who are talking about 680 and explaining it. And there's going to be even things, Vince, that we who even serve on panels and seen this may still think that it could be done better, or it's worded a little different, or we're like, I don't know, I don't necessarily understand what they're trying to say. And a lot of that, we had that effect yesterday when we were talking about the equipotential bonding. It's like, okay, we're still cleaning that thing up, 3 cycles into the kind of a change, and it's still cleaning it.
Yeah, continuous work in progress. Everyone realizes, I hope. I think the NEC has been published for 120 or 125 years now.
Yep.
And it's been updated every 3 years.
Yep.
And that's happened consistently. Yep. And it's going to still happen consistently in the future. Yep. So it's a continuous work in progress.
And we got things that we've already come up with, things that we're going to have to submit, right? And say, okay, well, we probably can make this a little better, or this is redundant and we could clean this up, or this could be confusing, that type of thing. So a lot of work continuously being done on the NEC.
Yep.
But one of the key takeaways also was the fact that today we'll be talking about hydromassage bathtubs. So Vince, what is one of the key elements that differs from a spa or hot tub, that is maybe, whether it's a one that's built into the pool, that's kind of formed shell just like a normal pool, but it's granite or a concrete or whatnot, or a factory made fabricated spa or hot tub, which has all the components? And how does one of the key differences from a hydromassage bathtub?
So I would say that you got to look at the definitions.
Okay.
There's tons of definitions, not tons, but I mean, there's at least 2 dozen definitions associated with these things that hold water in 680, whether it's a permanently installed pool or a storable pool or a hot tub or a hydromassage bathtub. They're all defined, and all those definitions are now up in 100. So to really see the difference, you really have to pick apart the definitions to get some guidance. And hydromassage tubs, that's defined also. I don't know where you're heading if we're going to look at those definitions.
Yeah, I'm trying to get over to them,
But
but
and we'll see language about um, some are designed to hold water and contain water all the time, and hydromassage bathtub is not. It's really designed to be emptied after each use.
yeah, discharge. So, folks, here is what y'all see here, and I'm trying to make sure, Vince, that I didn't. Real quick, hold on here. I'll make sure I didn't screw up, and I've got you over on here. I want to make sure I'm going to add you to the scene here.
Hey, I'm Paul Abernathy.
There you go. Yeah, ignore that. Ignore that. Just want to make sure to add you to the scene so you can make sure the commentary comes up. But here's the definition of a hydrogenized bathtub. This is what we're going to be talking about today in the applications here in part 7. It says a permanently installed bathtub. So it is a bathtub equipped with recirculating piping systems, pump, and associated equipment, whatever that may be. It is designed so it can accept, circulate, and discharge upon each use. There's your key driver right there, right? I mean, a hot tub and a spa, we're not gonna discharge it.
Probably,
we're gonna put chemicals
probably
in
not. Yeah, yeah. You're gonna fill it, treat it with chemicals, keep it filled, circulate the water when you want it, but you're really not discharging or emptying a spa or a hot tub normally after each use.
And I think that so many people use, there's trade slang or manufacturer names. They'll call things like jacuzzi.
Yep.
Okay. And people say, well, I have and they make a bunch of different stuff. They make jacuzzis, the hot spas and hot tubs. And now I've seen commercials on TV. They make showers that goes in showers. And so, I mean, when somebody hears certain names, they think, well, that's a hot tub. And that hydromassage bathtub, typically the water is heated through the normal heating system, like a water heater or whatnot. It doesn't preclude it from having some type of heating system on it. Doesn't preclude it from having some other type of equipment on it. But the key difference is it is permanently installed and equipment, and you drain it. Typically, you would drain it after each use. That type of scenario.
Right. And it's a bathtub.
It's a bathtub.
It's not a hot tub.
Not a hot
it's
tub.
Called out in the definition.
Yep, not a spa. Okay, so we looked at that. So that's just to kind of get a feel where we're at. And all of you folks in Coffee Hour know you heard my chair squeak forever. Vince tells me I need a new chair.
Yeah. Buy you a new chair for Christmas.
Says I need a new chair. It's squeaky, but again, this is a very homey squeak. So, I feel good. And if you had to carry this much weight every day, you'd squeak too. All right. So let's get to the lesson for today and start looking at it. Again, folks, if you have any questions, feel free to let us know. What's up, Bill? I see you in there. Ether guy, A Ether. What is that? Good morning. Glad to have you here. Dave, I see you here. Red Dog.
Woo, 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 woo. Big dog.
See you in here. Well, thanks for joining us. All right, so let's go on and get into the lesson. Where you're at, I see some eloquent. I bet you do, David, in the area where you're at, you see some really nice, fancy hydromassage that probably push the envelope of spa hot tub versus hydromassage bathtub. I mean, I could see it. Key is got a drain in the bottom. You drain the water. I'm going to call it a bathtub.
Yeah, and we've got language at the beginning of 680. I think it's in 680.2 now that talks about listing.
Yep.
All electrical equipment, described in the chapter has to be listed. So a default on if you're struggling with, you're looking at this thing holding water and you're there to wire it as the electrician, you're there to inspect it as the AHJ. What's it listed as? What's the listing mark say from the testing lab? And it'll probably be marked on there to say it's a hydromassage bathtub, or it's something else, or on the motor associated.
All right. Somebody's telling me I need to put WD-40 on my chair.
Yeah, that was my other suggestion for
just,
myself
you
because
know,
that's
squeak it
cheaper than buying you a chair. I could
It's,
just
it
buy
is
you a can
cheaper,
of
isn't it?
WD. That's
Cheapskate.
probably what I'll do.
All right. All right. So here's what we're going to get into, folks. We're going to be talking about, actually, we're not going to be talking about that. Let's see here. There we go. Okay. I was on the wrong slide. It was wrong. I was just on the wrong. Okay. So here's what we're going to talk about today. Hydromassage bathtubs. Knock that out. So there you go. There's a bathtub. Yeah, nothing's magic about that. It does have some, jets around it, probably actuator right here, or this might be the little thing over here that you actually control the amount of air, so the bubbling and all that type of stuff. All right, so there you go. So a hydrogen tub shall comply with part 7. Now, what's interesting is we can go look at the code 2 here is that, and we'll go to it. Let me get going and get us back to where we need to be in 680 right here. Here at the very beginning, the general makes it clear. It says hydromassage bathtubs are defined in Article 100. We looked at that. And it says shall comply with Part 7. They shall not be required to comply with other parts of this article. So this is kind of one of those scenarios, Vince, where it's a standalone.
Yeah.
It has its own rules just for the hydromassage bathtub. This is it.
Stay in part 7.
Yeah,
don't hydromassage bathtub. Don't leave part 7.
Yeah,
you're not required to. Just stay inside part 7, comply with the requirements, and then go do something else. Go fly a kite or go to the beach or do something. But don't start drifting into other parts of the article because it's not required.
Not required.
Not required to go anywhere else.
All right. So easy. It sounds easy, right? When we get it to that's easy.
Yeah.
So far, seems easy. All right. Now, the branch circuit. The branch circuit supplying the hydromassage bathtub and their associated electrical components shall serve no other loads. Okay, so that's talking about the branch circuit aspect. And again, we look at the code. Here we go. I don't know the change here while this is grayed out, except for I think that we can look at the change and individual branch circuit protection readily accessible. I think it's probably just. It looks like it's pulled out unnecessary things and it'll be covered somewhere else. And it's just focusing. The first thing is talking about, okay, the circuit that's running to it. That's it. It's the branch circuit. Okay. Actually, I love this. I love doing this too. Let's go back real quick to the lesson here. All right, folks. What's the violation in this picture? Right? So this is a nail up box. Okay, so this cable, non-metallic sheath cable, has to be secured within how many? Well, in this case right here, if this doesn't have a built-in clamp, it's just an opening that nobody knocks out and pokes it through, then this has got to be secured within 8 inches. If it is clamped or is a securement system built into the box or something that can clamp it, then you can go up to 12 inches. Violation. David out there, inspector, you might say this is a violation. This non-metallic sheath cable, the way it's being run at this opening is subject to physical damage at this point now because it's right there at the beginning, right there in the opening. It's not protected. Again, but there's a lot going on here, so I don't know what necessarily is in here, but again, I point that. The next question is whether or not this GFCI, in many people's opinion, is it readily accessible? Well, it's not very far inside the opening, so I mean, obviously, I think you can reach it. However, if I put a door on this, a cover on this, and I screw it in, or I screw it on, or I put some kind of cover on, then again, if I have to remove something, and if it's a frame and it's got a trim on it, it makes it blend in, then somebody's going to argue that, you know what, then it's not going to meet readily accessible. Okay, able to reach quickly without removing anything, climbing over, climbing under, whatever. So again, AHJ's got to make those calls. Easy fix for this is put the GFCI in the panel. Get you a nice Siemens
GFCI breaker.
Yeah, do the trick and be done with it. This coming out of here, I believe this is probably an air actuator where you push the button from the top or something. And
the black cable or black hose coming down.
Yeah, coming down.
Yeah, I would think so.
All right. So looking into the code again, just to make sure we cover this, it's all here, but we make sure we look at the code here. So branch circuit supplying hydromassage bathtubs and their associated components shall have no other loads. Obviously, they remove the language saying an individual branch circuit, but it's the same sense. It's the same sense of thing here. It's just saying, look, it's nothing else can be on it.
Yeah, and if I remember the conversations that we had about it, I could not be accurate, but from what I remember in the co-panel discussions, I think there was conversations that some of these larger ones, and maybe David have seen some of these, you've seen some of the bigger, larger ones. Maybe they have heating elements as part of the
And they
and,
can have
and
other accessory equipment.
some of these may require more than one branch circuit.
Okay.
So I think to play it safe, we left the language as, because the beginning does say branch circuits, or
Yeah.
the S is in parentheses. So however we worded it, that if you do have more than one, if we just said they had to be served by an individual branch circuit, that means one.
Mhm.
But if it requires more than one branch circuit to make it operate, then the code language would be a little too restrictive. So,
Yeah, and I think you can have multiples. I just think that the branch circuit that you run for the motor that may be specific to the blower, no other loads on it.
somebody needs my mic closer,
Need to
or I have to talk louder.
get a little louder.
You don't really want to hear what I have to say anyway.
Yeah, I have him up. He's such a soft talker,
All right,
dude.
let me get closer.
He's just like he whispers the code. He's the code whisperer. That's the new name for Vince out there, folks. Hashtag code whisperer.
All right, Leo, let's see if that's any better. Give us some
And
feedback.
I can't make his mic get any louder. I don't know how I don't even know how I would even do that here. So, hey, man, don't make it complicated for me, Leo. Okay, y'all know I'm loud enough. You can hear me all the way in the. He could be doing this from Florida, and he could hear me if I'm yelling. So, all right, let's get back to the lesson. All right. So anyway, okay. So, what about other electrical equipment? All right. Again, luminaires are electrical equipment, very general term. We talked about that in the series where we talked about electrical equipment. All when it comes to 680, all of it has to be listed, right? But we know luminaires have to be listed. We know that all wiring methods have to be listed. Devices, receptacles, or devices they have to be listed. Again, all that type of stuff. So here it says luminaires, switches, receptacles, and other electrical equipment located in the same room and not directly associated with the hydromassage bathtub shall be installed in accordance with the requirements of Chapter 1 through 4, covering the installation of that equipment in bathrooms. Important thing to note about structure of the code again, we talk about it. Chapters 1 through 4 apply generally throughout the NEC. And this, of course, is making a direct reference back to Chapter 1 through 4 because it is standalone, right? But when it comes to this specific part, even though this is a standalone, here is just using reference saying, look, I mean, you still have other things that may be utilized in this bathroom, right? The luminaires, the lighting, the switches, other things. I mean, all of that. And you got to follow the rules in chapter 1 through 4, right? Of that equipment. So basically says that you still got to follow the code, even though this is standalone, even though this is in this bathroom and where we're talking about a hydromassage bathtub. It just reminds us again that luminaire, switch, receptacle, and other electrical equipment located in that same room as that hydromassage bathtub and not directly associated specifically with the bathtub, the lighting and all that stuff. It wouldn't be associated with it. Okay. It says shall be installed in accordance with chapters 1 through 4 of this code covering the installation of that equipment in the bathroom. And one key thing I would think as we go back to the lesson is that this is awful pretty. And this is a picture of Vince's bathroom back at his house.
Just one of the many.
Just one of the many in the house. We think about this chandelier hanging over top of the. You think it's high enough? You know, you think that we're meeting the bathroom height requirements 3 foot out, 8 feet up over the threshold? You think that's 8 feet up above this threshold?
I don't think it is.
I do not think this is. But this is one of those elaborate ones that David sees down there in his area. Okay. But this is one of those things I can tell you from an electrician's experience. This is a one, Vince, where I do this installation. This is what the owner wants, right? How many of you out there, let me know in the comments, how many of you out there have been in this situation? You got to do something. You got to put a swing and a miss. We have to do different things. The owners come to you and say, well, I don't want it. I can tell you if I had $1 for every time somebody says, I don't want receptacles on my countertop in my kitchen. I want them up in the cabinet. I don't need them. I'm sitting there going, what's the big deal? I love a receptacle, but it seems like all the homes that my brother does and we work on them multi-million-dollar homes, they don't want to see any receptacles. So we end up putting them in plug mold. But even then, they're like, I've had people even say, I don't want to see them at all. Same here. Your customer wants this chandelier hanging over their tub, the Hydromassage bathtub. Okay, that's what that is, right? And they're like, I want it. And you got to tell them, no, you can't have it. You can't have it right there. Now, if you're up above the 8 feet and the whole thing's above the 8 feet above the threshold, whatever, you can't reach it, it's fine, right? But you got to be able to tell the customer no, right? Okay. So what is Adam said? That looks like aliens are coming down to get you out of your tub. Is that what that looks like? Is an alien dropping down, a spaceship dropping out of it, out of a hole, a portal in the ceiling, that type of thing. But yeah, there's that was always been a challenge because a bathroom that is in those real fancy houses like that, a bathroom turns into a lot of things inside of a bathroom. Like, first of all, people want to say, all right, now where are we measuring where's the wet location portion? Is it a dry location? If it's in a shower, the bathtub area, footprint, what can you have in and you can't? Overall bathroom, for example, is not a wet location or a damp location. Everybody wants to think it is. That is not the reason we GFCI the receptacles within 3 feet of the top inside of the basin in the sink. That's a whole different rule to serve the countertops that we have that minimum of 120 amp branch circuit, right? 210.11C2. We have a minimum of one. We can have others in there. But if it's a massive bathroom like that, every receptacle in there is GFCI protected. And we also know now in the 2023 code that you can have more circuits in a bathroom. They don't just have to be 20 amp. You could have 15 amp, maybe a bidet or whatever that has an electric plug-in or something. You can have other circuits in there, but one thing is common that they all have to be GFCI protected. In this case, as we're talking about other electrical equipment, everything else in there still got to be installed based on its requirements. So the reference here, 1 through 4, for example, would be this luminaire. Still has to follow the requirements in 410.16s. Well, if there's a closet area that's inside that bathroom, like you go in and it has a closet, you still have rules in there from the shelving.
Correct.
If you have other open areas, and you're still going to meet all those rules, right? So that type of thing. So that's all it's really saying, right?
Maybe we have a PI for somebody here, public input. If that language was not here inside 680, the reference is back to 1 through 4.
Right.
What changes? Because 1 through 4, chapters 1 through 4 apply anyway.
That's
90.
Yeah. Do we necessarily need to tell you that when we know that the arrangement of the code says chapters 1 through 4 apply generally, 5, 6, 7, and 8, modify and supplement chapters 1 through 8. So do we necessarily need to say it? Does it hurt? I think that's the thing that we get into sometimes in the panel.
Right. Does it hurt to have it here?
Does it hurt anything?
Right.
Does it add clarity?
Not. But you can argue it either way. It's in there. It'll probably stay in there.
Yeah.
But if it was gone, I don't think it really changes anything because chapters 1 through 4 have to apply. They do apply anyway. You have that information in Article 90.
All right. So there we go. That is a fancy bathroom. Very nice, Vince. You have made it, my friend. You have made it with that bathroom.
Right. That's actually my maid's bathroom. I have a much bigger.
Next is accessibility. All right. So it says Hydromassage bathtub electrical equipment shall be accessible without damaging the building structure or building finish. Okay. So access panel, be able to get to the equipment, be able to get to the motor. Okay. Circulating pump motor. You got to be able to get to the receptacle. It's a cord and plug, that type of thing. Okay. So it says where the Hydromassage tub is a cord and plug connected with a supplied receptacle accessible only through the service access opening. The receptacle shall be installed so that the face is in direct view and not more than 1 foot from the opening.
Oh, typo.
It's still foot.
1 foot of the opening.
1 foot of the opening. Right. As always, we'll go to the NEC. And accessibility here. That's 1 foot right there of the opening. That's what it says. So same language. So again, now Vince, does this preclude it from being hardwired?
This particular requirement does not preclude it from being hardwired. What may preclude it from being hardwired is what the manufacturer of the motor says about the motor.
Right. The motor could come with a cord and plug, and that's its intended use, right?
Right. And we really have to look at the installation instructions from the manufacturer of that motor to see if they say you can hardwire me also. And if the installation instructions are kind of silent and you've got a cord and plug from the manufacturer, then that means you should not defeat that cord and hardwire it.
Right. It's not like you have options at that point. You don't. It's cord and plug connected. Now you may get a motor that is designed for either or, but you got to look at the instructions. At 110.3b, follow the instructions. Make sure you install it in accordance. All that good stuff. What does the chat say? So all these rules, Vince, all these rules, basically says all these rules, make it harder to end everything with a toaster. Womp womp womp. Come on now. Positive thoughts. What he also could, he's a comedian. Here we go. He says you can do what you want after the inspector is gone. Hey,
no comment.
No comment. No comment on that one. Okay. All right. So accessibility, being able to get to it, to the equipment. If there's not a receptacle there, okay, the only part of that rule that you're going to ignore if there's a receptacle is is the accessibility to it, right? Is within 1 foot, and you have to be able to see the face of it. If it's hardwired and it's permitted to be hardwired, then you still have to have accessibility to get to the equipment, right?
Yeah. And if we look back at the slide, I grabbed somebody's installation instructions, and they say for that particular motor, I don't know, remember whose instructions I grabbed. 12 inches by 24 inches, 12 inches high, 24 inches wide. That's the minimum access space.
That's pretty freaking big, because most of the little accesses that I've dealt with the motors, the damn things are basically probably 14 by 14, 12 by 12. I mean, they're not big because the owner doesn't want this big ass panel unless it's in the other side is in the closet or whatever.
And I get it, but I grabbed this. I put these slides together in this graphic. I probably grabbed a few years ago for some other presentations. And I remember looking on some different Hydromassage bathtub manufacturers' websites, and I didn't see anything smaller in their installation instructions than the 12 by 24. Wow. So, and I know that's kind of.
I would say as many as I've done, I don't remember.
Yeah, they're most of the
putting
time
a panel that freaking big.
I think one of the issues is we're not the ones on the electrical side of the world installing this access panel. We're not framing it. We're not installing it. It's up to probably the general contractor. Certainly not up to us.
And the inspector's just looking to see that the receptacle's there and it's within 12 inches of the opening.
Right.
And they're like.
But the issue will be whose inspection is going to fail if that opening winds up to be
plumbing.
Says it's not big enough.
Plumbing inspector.
It's going to be us, probably.
Yeah, that's the plumbing. What's up, Terrence? From up in DMV. So he's in DC, Maryland, Virginia contractor. Welcome. Glad to have you here. All right. So that's the accessibility. We have to have the ability to get to that sucker to be able to work on it, replace that motor, all that kind of good stuff. What's next? All right. Next, the bonding requirements. Okay.
Yeah. So let's stop right there.
Yep.
It says bonded together. The title is bonding. I don't see anything in here that says equipotential bonding. That's just.
Let's
this
go look
is
at the
just
code. Let's make sure
bonding.
we're all there, because this is where you're right. This is where people get really confused, because you got spas, hot tubs, you got some allowances there. Again, shameless plug for the upcoming 680 series where we'll cover that. And let me get also, let's do this real quick. Heads up to folks. One of the videos on equipotential bonding is 3 hours long. Okay. So get your coffee, sit down. The video series that we're going to be doing is designed to be a fly on the wall discussion, and we talk about some of the things that even we question. Okay. Even we go, I don't know. We sit on that panel and I'm not sure what the hell that means. And so there's going to be work. I'm most certainly going to submit something to ask for clarity, even though I'm on the panel. I'm going to ask, right? That type of thing. Okay. So at the end of the day, dude, we sit on this stuff, and this is complicated stuff. Again, as an electrician, you again, nothing against plumbers, nothing against mechanical guys, nothing against the other trades, but you know what? They don't hold an electrician's jock. Let's just say that right now. Okay. Let's just say it. Electricians are the cream of the crop. There's so many things that we have to understand and learn. So at the end of the day, you know, all those other trades are wannabes. They want to be electricians, but they just can't do it. They just can't be electricians. They want to be, but they can't be. Okay. So with that said, don't confuse a hydromassage bathtub's bonding requirements with 680.26 equipotential bonding. It's a totally different beast to deal with. So stay right here. Stay in section 74. Do not jump out of here, and don't let your inspector jump out of here. Like David says, I don't want no grounding electrode. I don't want no, I need you to drive a ground rod for that hydromassage bathtub. Oh, my head would blow up if a damn inspector said something like that. So we're going to assume they wouldn't. Okay. So, all right. So, Vince, so that's what we made clear.
Right.
Stay right here.
Stay right here.
Stay right here. So
bonding, and you're
right here.
You're a panel 5 guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think bonding is defined, or bonded is defined.
Bonded.
Under 100.
The act of bonded, and the act of it is bonding. We have definitions for that.
Here's my definition or my description of
bonding. Okay.
And let me know if
let
you
me
like
come.
this
Let me come back to this so we can get this. Here you go on the record. Let's go.
As a panel 5 guy, let me know if you agree with this. Bonding is connecting a bunch of metal parts and pieces together. Connect them with
to act as one.
Connect them with a wire, actual wire, copper wire, maybe an aluminum wire, maybe a copper clad aluminum.
And when it comes
wire.
to bonding, it can be structural reinforced steel. It can be like the I-beams. It can be metal parts. It can be in pools and spas. We have it with the equipotential. We can use certain raceways. But that's tying all that together.
Don't go to equipotential bonding. Bonding is just connecting a bunch of metal parts and pieces together.
Acting as one. Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's all it is.
That's all it is. That's it.
Connecting stuff together.
Well, shit, Vince. That's not. Together. I was looking for something that was like a
real prophet, some poetry.
Something that was going to be like, but I didn't get it. You let me
down. The best poetry is getting is connecting a bunch of metal stuff together in our system. I know, it was a real letdown.
It's like getting a boner and no action. All right, so let's go to
no comment.
All right, so here, hydromassage bathtubs, bonding. Okay. General, the following parts shall be simple. Bonded together. All right. Number 1, all metal fittings within or attached to the tub structure that are in contact with the circulating water. Okay. Number 2, metal parts. And again, we have my issue with my mouse.
Just for a second on number 1, metal fittings within or attached to the tub structure in contact. Would that most likely be part of the manufacturing of the tub? You've got these maybe metal jets.
Well, I think most of the jets and all this stuff, I will say, probably are plastic. Okay. So I would say it's probably not the jets. I would say they're all probably plastic, or they're going to be that chrome plated plastic. It's not real chrome. It looks like chrome because for the valves. think all that's probably plastic. I think the only thing that's probably metal in this, in many cases, would be the mixing valve or the mixing at the actual bathtub, where the hot and cold mixer, the mixer, that type of thing. So I think that's the only thing. But when it talks about bonding metal, the fitting, if that is it, then there's nothing to bond it to.
Right. Just
That's it. If it's just the mixing valve and that was happened to be metal, most of the ones I see they could be were probably plastic or something. But that would be the only metal fitting. I can't think of any other metal fitting in there other than like handrails, but that's not been in contact with the circulating water, right?
Well, this is fittings within or attached to the tub structure
that are in contact with the circulating water. I mean, and maybe the rails for getting out is above. Could it be? I don't know. I don't think. I just don't think so.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out and let folks know, is this something that really has to happen out there?
Yeah, do you really do anything?
Has to do something, or is this kind of inherent to the manufacturing, where these parts may be connected together as part of the tub manufacturer?
I think that there was an extensive amount of metal fittings on these things that the manufacturer would probably bond those together before you got the freaking thing. I think it would be, all bonded together. I can tell you most of the tubs that I would have seen in something like this would be like the handrails are actually that acrylic handrails. They're clear acrylic or something like that. Not going to be metal, and that type of thing. So, at the first one here that we're at, I would say there's probably very little in a Hydromassage bathtub that's got to be bonded together. And if there's only one metal piece, what are you bonding it to, right? So it says all metal fittings, but what if you only had one metal fitting? What if you had only one mixer? Now, if you have metal water piping throughout your structure, right? Then the code already requires that you bond the metal water piping in a building, right? So that's already covered. And if that comes up into the faucet or up into the spigot for the bathtub, then it's already done through the actual mixing valve. Everything's done. Now, that's done. I don't do anything there. I don't think anybody does that anymore. I think everything is PEX or all plastic, that type of thing. So again, the only conceivable metal fitting that you may even have is, let's see, we're going to lose our folks over here on TikTok. The only plausible thing that we may have would be maybe a metal valve, mixing valve, maybe. And even that is, if it's only one, if that's the only thing, there's nothing to bond it to, right? Because it says bond together. If it's the only thing, then it's it. It's it.
Well, let's see what else is on the list.
Let's go. See what's next.
There's always going to be a motor associated with this, right?
Yep. Okay. So let's see what else there may be. So next, number 2, it says, I got to get my mouse back. All right. Metal parts of electrical equipment associated with the tub water circulating system, including a pump or blower motors. Okay, so now we're going to possibly another item.
So if you did have this single metal fitting or mixer valve, you'd have to connect that to the pump.
Well, if that's what we're talking about, if that's a fitting and it is metal and it comes in contact with something, I mean, I would think that I would have to say they'd have to be bonded together. Again, I am not so sure that those are all metal fittings.
It's not inherent to the manufacturing of the tub.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Okay.
It might, but again, I'm going to argue that I probably think most of that stuff in the mixing valve, all that is more or less plastic or coated or whatnot. So again, I'm probably going to say not worth the effort to try to do something. The next one is, again, get back, sorry. All right, so 3 is metal sheath cables. That would be like an MC cable or something if you're going to do that. And metal raceways and metal piping that are within 5 feet the inside walls of the tub and not separated from the tub by a permanent barrier. Okay, so I don't know when, Vince, I would see any metal sheath cable except for if I run the MC underneath the tub. And again, that's probably going to have an equipment ground that's going to be terminated into a proper listed fitting. That's going to be terminated into a motor. Motor's going to have an equipment ground on it. So they're all going to be pretty much bonded together.
You would think already? So. I mean, the only example I could think of, I don't know if this would ever happen or not, you've got other MC cables in your example that run behind the tub and they're going somewhere else. They're not going to the tub.
Right.
They're going to supply other branch circuits. If those were in the area within 5 foot, you'd have to try and bond them. How you would do that, I have no idea. So I guess the better thing would be to not have them within 5
Yeah,
foot.
not ride them. Ride them. Yeah, hey, as an electrician,
else.
guys, sometimes it's things that you just got to use common sense and say, look, I'm not going to route them through there. I'm not going to put it in there. Other thing you might run into when it says metal piping. I mean, you could have. I mean, I can conceivably see the metal piping of a towel rack that is too close. That you could argue that the towel rack, okay, and there's going to be other metal surfaces, obviously within 5 feet. It also, but I'm just saying when it comes to metal piping, I'm just far-reaching. I mean, we're going to cover things like metal racks that may be within 5 feet or something like that.
And also keep in mind this Hydromassage bathtub. I mean, I think I always do it. I think it's going to be in a dwelling, but you could have a Hydromassage bathtub in a hotel room and some other occupancy type where you would have more metal raceways or metal cables. In a dwelling, probably have NM cable. Maybe not a lot of metal raceways. So, think broadly on where this thing
so if it's a hotel you're staying in and it's an old-fashioned, maybe they've got some of their pump plumbing pipe that is, run on the surface. I mean, it's, decorative, going from floor to floor, and that's piping and it's within, and it's, it's close to it. Then within 5 feet, then, you're going to have to take it out. So that's going to be one of the parts that got to be all bonded together. Again, trying to reduce any touch potential, but creating your own little equipotential.
Don't use
okay,
that
all right,
word
all right,
here.
okay, all right. We're just bonding. We're just bonding. All right, next one is number 4. Is all exposed metal surfaces that are within 5 feet of the inside wall of the tub and not separated from the tub by a permanent barrier, okay, like a wall or something that's separating from whatever that would be. That's a exposed metal surface, okay.
A window frame.
Window frame, yeah. You have a metal window frame. Stick with vinyl, folks, or something else. But
unless if we got 3 exceptions.
Okay.
So
got some exceptions.
Unless we fall into the exceptions, and we'll have to see what those say.
General rule, generally speaking.
Okay? General rule is right now. It sounds like anything metal within 5 foot.
Moral of that story: move your damn metal stuff.
Try and keep it away. Possible.
More than 5 feet. 5. What do we say? 5 feet 1 inch.
5 feet and 1/1,000,000th of an inch, and you're good to go.
Good to go, depending on how the inspector measures it. Right. All right. Number 5. Non-current carrying metal parts of devices and controls that are not associated with the hydromassage tub and are located within 5 feet from such units. So the non-current carrying metal parts, you could have other equipment, and in the non-current is like the metal frame of something. That's typically the non-current carrying metal parts. This also could be, what else could it be? We could have
metal parts of devices. I think of like a metal faceplate,
right?
Of a
switch plate,
toggle switch, or a switch plate. Yeah. Unless, again, we have to look at the exceptions and see if we're going to get a relaxation on something in the exceptions.
Yeah, so we got some exceptions that we can do. But when we think of electrical devices and control, we're also thinking of switches, aren't we? I mean, they're devices. They have non-current carrying metal parts on them. And then you've got again, I hate to go down this little rabbit hole with you, but you got the screws, that they're metal screws that screw into the device. They're metal connected to the device, which connects to an equipment ground, which is a non-current carrying component. Just keeping things. And of course, it goes with other things kind of that we've talked about in other areas of the code of 680 that we said, switching devices, disconnects, all those things keep 5 feet away, that type of thing. So again, I think the easiest way to look at this, anything that is a device that controls and utilize small portions like a a switch with an illumination on it. It's still a device, but it utilizes a small amount to illuminate the switch. Anything that controls a device that controls if it's within 5 feet of this Hydromassage bathtub, then you're going to have to bond it. So good news is if you do all the other stuff and if it was the switch with a cover and a plate, don't use a metal cover plate, all this kind of stuff, it would all be connected to an equipment ground, which is ultimately connected the same thing that's going through the motor, and the motor is going to be connected to the other metal parts. Anyway, so it's all effectively going to be bonded together. Okay. But this is just saying that if you do have non-current carrying metal parts of devices and controls that are associated with that are not associated with it, then you're going to have to bond it. Now, it may get done already through equipment grounds, because y'all all know that equipment grounding conductors, and people have argued for years, having events, to change the name of equipment ground. They want to call it equipment bonding conductor. Back and forth.
Someone out there in the industry wants
to really change that. And I think at the end of the day, that's why we have an informational note to remind people that the equipment grounding conductor also serves a function, and that is a bonding function as well.
Right. That's the informational note tied in with the definition of equipment grounding conductor.
I'll let you know. It does serve other roles, obviously. All right, so that's that. Now we're going to look at the exceptions here. Well, no, let's look at some stuff here. All right, so this is the Hydromassage bathtub. Very nice. Okay. I guess access is on here somewhere, but if we got to do a 2x4, 24-inch access, I'm thinking one of these panels must just pop right off. I don't know. Where's the access to this?
It's there somewhere.
It's somewhere.
We're going to say it is absolutely there.
It's so absolutely there, folks. It
complies with the code and complies with manufacturer's installation.
Perfect.
It looks like we've got some metal window frames.
Yeah, look at these metal window frames here. You know, that's kind of, we talked about that when it came to pool earlier when we did in our series. We talk about the fact that nothing makes an installation. You know, even when we're doing the echo potential for the swimming pools, if you had metal door frames, you had metal window frames right there within 5 feet, you got to bond them. How nasty the thought is that you're going to have to run the 8 gauge up and then, drill and tap and put a lug on the freaking metal window frame. But that's what the code says. So, same thing with the gutter or things like that, or an awning and all that stuff. Here, we're talking about simply bonding. Okay. But here we've got possibly the metal framing of the windows right there and within 5 feet. God, how nasty would that be? I mean, how would you even achieve that? Would it have to be, I don't know, a lot of these windows are sat into the wood framing. I mean, where are you going to make this connection other than on the surface? And that's just nobody wants that.
So I agree, and hopefully,
quick answer is change those windows, vinyl coated windows or whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully that, and so back up, right? That so far we haven't seen the 680. It's saying bond these things. It's not telling us how to bond them. It's not telling us so far a specific wire size to use. It's just telling us connect them together, but so far we don't have information on how to do that.
Really? Because this is standalone, right?
Yep.
And so far it hasn't told us sizing for this. It hadn't said, it's got to be an 8 like we do for the equipotential bonding or other things. Nope, hadn't said that yet.
So we don't have that information yet. So actually how to do it, we don't know how to do it yet.
We don't know how to do it yet.
680 hasn't told us yet.
All right, so look at this picture on the right here. Again, very elaborate. Do you think that somebody just did not have a conversation with the homeowner?
So we got the tub at the bottom, Hydromassage bathtub.
Yep, it's down here.
That looks like we got a metal door frame to the right. Yeah. Probably metal window frame to the left.
And of course, you got your, this is where it says chapters 1 through 4. You've got your issues here with your lighting over top of it. That, chandelier. Yeah, that's a problem.
And in both these pictures, we've got metal handles, hot and cold water handles. We got the metal water spigot or supply or faucet. Yeah. So.
Yeah, a lot to think about here, and I have no idea where the access would be on something like this. This looks like this is a molded thing. Over here, there's not enough room, so you're certainly not going to be able to get anything out of this area. This looks really close to the wall on this side. This is weird one. I don't know.
Hopefully it's under the mat or
Some, yeah, it's been. I doubt it's 24 by
something. It
whatever.
complies. Let's hope
It's
it
complies.
complies.
Vince says it complies. Okay.
I hope it does.
Typical manufacturers. Let's there we go. Hey, if you got this metal, if this is metal, maybe it's not metal. Maybe these look metal and they're really just fancy shiny wood.
Well, it's possible, but for our conversation, we're saying they're
We're
metal
saying it's
as
metal.
examples that you may have to deal with this in the field.
All right, exceptions to all of this bonding. Okay, again, remember, not equipotential, bonding.
Just
bonding all these pieces together, tying them all together, making them act as Vince's definition. We're making them act as one.
Connect all this stuff together. That's my definition. Connect the metal stuff together.
All right. So now let's see if we get any relaxation here from all these pieces we just were talking about. Because again, we haven't looked at exceptions. We just looked regular. All right. So exception number one, small conductive surfaces not likely to become energized, such as an air in water jets, supply valve assemblies. Yay. Whoop, whoop. Because that would be a freaking nightmare to get up to that mixing valve crap like that. No, thank you. And drain fittings not connected to metallic piping. So again, PEX system running throughout. And towel bars, whoop, whoop, mirror frames, and similar non-electrical equipment not connected to metal framing shall not be required to be bonded. Okay. So
you got these isolated metal parts and pieces
around
here.
Thank God.
You're good. So if you have the
now,
towel bar
I don't see any relaxation, Vince, for the windows yet.
You're not getting that here. No.
And it's in that. But everything else, relaxation, great. Don't worry about the mixing valves. Don't worry about any jets. You said if they happen to have any metal in the jet, don't worry about that. It's kind of like the pools. You don't have to do the little anchors or the covers, by certain dimensions. Whew, can you imagine the nightmare? The manufacturers are very thankful too, because that's probably why they just send them these Hydromassage bathtubs. There's nothing to bond on it for most of these.
Yeah, other than the motor, probably.
Other than the motor. So and we'll see. We're going to see about that a little bit too for bonding for that type of scenario. All right, so none of that drains. So we don't have to worry about any of that. So good, done. Exception number two. Oops. Exception number two says a double insulated motor and blowers shall not be bonded. Okay.
As long as they're double insulated.
As long as it's a double insulated motor. Now we are going to have to do something, maybe, or maybe not. We'll see. But that's a double insulated motor. If you happen to have that, done. The question is, Vince, what if you replace it with a non-double insulated motor?
Yeah, the code is.
All right, we're going to cover.
We're going to capture that. It's going to get you.
All right. So if you buy a double one with a double insulated motor, okay, the double insulated cord, double insulated motor, blower, and everything, ooh, you don't got to do nothing to it. Don't have to bond it. Good. Right, so we don't have to do that. Third exception says small conductive surfaces of electrical equipment that it is not likely to become energized, such as mounting straps or a yoke of a listed light switch or receptacle that is grounded shall not be required to be bonded. Woo, good. Now we got out of that one because it talked about devices. So in that case, it's other type of equipment, other type of things that might be a device or whatnot. Okay. So that would fall under the definition of a device. Okay. But we're not worried about what here? We're not worried about the mounting straps or yokes of a listed light switch or receptacle. So again, don't have to worry about that. Of course, we do have some also requirements for receptacles and locations around these things anyway, but at least we don't have to mess with that. Right? And the reason we bring that up is because, again, this rule says anything within 5 feet, and the code's going to say a different distances as you've got a perimeter, for example, 3 feet out, 8 feet up for certain things. So
you're referencing either 410 requirements for the luminaires,
right?
3 and the 8,
that one.
And now we got some receptacle language.
Some receptacle language
too. So yeah, that's what you're referencing. Right?
Yeah. So we've got these. So we're focusing on what it talked about, the distance just for the Hydromassage bathtub, just what things you have to bond within its scope within 5 feet or things like that are not related to the to the tub. That was that other one we saw. So this is just an exception because we were talking about switches, we were talking about devices and yokes. This is saying, don't worry about it.
Right.
You're good.
Good.
Don't mess with it.
All right. Now let's see. How do we do this?
Okay.
What's the code going to tell us to do to accomplish this?
All right. Bonding conductor. Okay. So this is B. And again, Vince, I'm just going to say it. We talk about this. We do a lot of code wanted us to itemize things out in the NEC, and we're starting to itemize things out so it's easier to understand. So what happened here with this one? Was there not a necessary need here to try to break any of this up?
It probably should be broken up into list items so it's easy to read.
This is just one big run long on paragraph, and we're trying to make an effort to get away from these type of things.
I think my assumption is no one submitted a public input to list item this,
and we didn't go in there.
Didn't go and do it. So.
Okay. So that shows you, folks, just so we know, y'all think that code making panel members just go into the code and just willy nilly try to change things. You know what? We're not going to go searching for stuff to create more work. I mean, we usually go to these meetings and we got a couple days to go through hundreds of public inputs. Sometimes we come up with things that are associated to a change and we like, oh yeah, we're already here. We need to fix this. But we're not going to just go willy nilly throughout the area that we're working on and say, hey, we need to add this, because it needs to have review.
Substantiation from someone that has to be done. So
I like to say the stakeholders, you folks out there that they can send the public inputs, y'all have to review the work that we do. That's why you have a public input. Then you have a first draft. You get to see what happened. Then you get to make public comments on that first draft. Then we'll give you a second revision, right? Or I guess it's first revision now, and it's a second revision. I don't think they call them first draft and second drafts anymore. So it's revisions. And you get to look at it, and you get another stab at it again. Okay? Can't introduce new stuff once we get to the public comment stage. I mean, you're commenting on what was already out there, but you get another stab after that, what's called a NITMAM, notice of intent to make a motion. And you can do it again if you want to haul your butt to that meeting and be involved in that type of thing. So you got a bunch of stabs at it. Okay. So don't think that we're just sitting around making stuff up, because we're not. Okay. Except code panel 5 when it comes to the equipment grounds in parallel. But we won't go there.
We're on panel 17 here.
That's right. I'm not gonna open that. So all right, let's just go look at here. Okay, so here's what we got.
So how do we do it?
Now
You're going to tell us on
how do we do it? The bonding. All metal parts required to be bonded, which we just covered.
Right, by this section.
And we assume that we selected some things that have to be. Okay. By this section, shall be bonded together using a solid copper bonding jumper, insulated cover or bared. Okay. Did I say bared? Bare. Okay. Fine. Not smaller than 8.
You know what?
Gotta have that big freaking 8.
I'm looking at the next paragraph. Man, I don't like the word I'm seeing in there. I didn't think that was in.
See, you were jumping all on me saying the word, and I'll go back and say, yes, we are essentially trying to do the same thing. Reduce touch potentials. If there is anything, bring it up to the same so you don't feel the difference, because that's where you get shocked, as you feel the difference. If you bring everything up to the same potential, not eliminating it, although I will say, if you have that happening in a hydromassage bathtub area, it could be eliminated. Okay, this is inside the dwelling. This is there's I'm just saying you should be able to. But anyway, all right. So he doesn't like this next sentence here because he just wanted to stay away from equipotential bonding. The word, he wants to stay away from it, but he can't. It says the bonding jumper shall be required for equipotential bonding, right? In the area of the hydromassage bathtub, and shall not be required to be extended or attached to any remote panel board, enclosure, service equipment, or any electrodes. Whoop, whoop, whoop. God, I am going to tell you, it's not a story, but I'm going to tell you that when I was an engineer for the city of Richmond, we had some jurisdictions that were around us, not ours, that were literally making people go to a ground rod
Mm.
from a hydromassage bathtub area, taking it, running it from the motor or whatever out and running it down to electrodes, or connecting it to the grounding electrode system. Give you the option to it literally, I was like, I mean, here it says it shall not be required. It's not prohibiting it.
Correct. You could do it if you want, but there's
Why
really
would you
no
do it?
mandatory requirement. The code is saying you don't have to, but you can if you want.
Yeah.
But it's not a mandatory requirement. So I kid about the equipotential bonding. I just don't want folks to think that they see the equipotential bonding word and now they jump over the 68026 all the way up in part 2 for permanently installed pools and now try to apply or want to apply those 68026 requirements to a hydromassage bathtub.
Yeah,
You
I mean,
don't have to do that. That's not the requirement. We already saw. Stay here in part 7. That's what the language told us at the very beginning of the general requirements of this section. Just accomplish the equipotential bonding per the language that we have in this section and don't go anywhere else.
Yeah, and you know what? We're gonna see the term equipotential bonding. If you have anything to do with agricultural buildings, there's equipotential bonding elements there as well.
Yeah, they actually talk
So-
about an equipotential plane.
Mhm.
They use a little bit different terminology when you get to that's Article 555.
547
555 marinas.
marinas.
547 is the agricultural.
So the concept is used in many of the concept, right? And when it comes to agricultural, it's the voltage gradients. One, because cows, for example, in producing milk, people say, why is that a safety concern? Because there's also farmers that work in the same areas where they're milking and things like that. You have the water troughs, the feeding troughs, your metal trough. Yeah, a lot of stuff around there. And the voltage gradient also, it's hard to get a cow or other producing. It could be goats, it could be whatever. They will not go into an area where they can detect a voltage gradient, and it can affect their milk production, but it also create a safety hazard for people as well. So it's not just about milk production, although in that industry that's a huge thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so again, as y'all know, with the tariffs and things that happen and all that, anything that affects economies and things like that but again, I just want people to know that even in agriculture, it's also safety driven as well when it comes to the equipotential, in that case, the equipotential plane. David's got a question for us here. It says, what happens when a double insulated pump is involved? Well, first, if you have a double insulated pump, you ain't got to do nothing. Okay. Code says you don't have, first part.
Yeah.
Yeah. We haven't looked at the exception, but when it comes to the words, when it says, does it have to be bonded? It said no. And as we talked about earlier, but couldn't somebody replace that pump? Right?
With a non-double
insulated pump, and they most certainly could. I don't know the cost differences. I don't know. Hell, if it was me and it was double insulated, I'd buy another double insulated pump. But I guess there's maybe cost differences. I don't know.
You buy another double insulated pump, it was the same price. But if you get a non-double insulated,
it's cheaper. You think people just going to go cheaper?
Yeah, I know you.
He knows me. Yeah, that's what Paul would do. All right. So what does it say here? Okay. Now it says.
Well, hold that thought, David, because we're going to look at the language that we're kind of referencing.
Yeah. So he didn't like this term here. So again, but you don't have to extend it back to any of that stuff. Okay. Right. Stay right there, right where we're at. If you want to, go for it. But why would you? We don't want to create more work for the electrician. I'm not going to run something all the way down to get to the panels. Pointless. All right. Next. In an installation. In all installations, a bonding jumper long enough to terminate on a replacement non-double insulated pump or blower motor shall be provided and shall be terminated to the EGC of the branch circuit of the motor when a double insulated circulating pump or blower motor is used. Okay. Let's go back to, so here's what we're saying. If you're using a double insulated pump, you're still going to have to run an 8 gauge from that pump location over. And since it is double insulated, you're going to have to, and I think, Vince, all you're going to have to do is you're going to have to take it into that box where the receptacle may be, and you're going to take it in. You're going to have to connect it to the equipment ground.
Yeah. Yeah, you certainly. The code is pretty clear that that has to happen in that language we just looked at.
Yeah. And so while we have it broken down, if you go look at the NEC here, and the whole language here, we covered it broken down. So what he did is break these up. I think that this probably somebody should submit. So this is broken down. But the part we were just looking at is this one: all installations, a bonding jumper long enough to terminate on a replacement non-double insulated pump or blower motor shall be provided. So it's got to be there. Got to put it in. Even if you're using a double insulated pump, still got to put it in, and it be terminated at least one end of it, right? Has to terminate on the equipment grounding conductor of the branch circuit of the motor when a double insulated pump or blower motor is used. So basically just a copper wire, right? Just
piece of 8 gauge, however many feet long. One end of it's going to go in the device box where the receptacle's going. You're going to have to make the box big enough from a cubic inch perspective to get the 8 in there, splice it onto the equipment grounding conductor. And the other end is just going to be left looped up kind of in that pump motor location.
Waiting for the cheapskate like me to change from a double insulated to a
and maybe it gets used one day, and maybe it never gets used.
But maybe it just sits there forever.
Has to be there.
But it is going to be connected to the equipment ground, so it's there, right? So yeah. So electricians, you're still going to have to do that, right? But you'll be thankful one day you have to go back and then you're going to install a motor and it isn't double insulated, and you're going to be like, look right here, I've got it, right?
So the question was a solid copper. I believe it said an 8.
Yeah,
8 gauge solid.
Absolutely. Yep. So
insulated cover or bare was
right here in the code, right here, using a solid copper bonding jumper. Now it can be insulated, it can be cover, or absolutely it can be just a bare 8 gauge solid run over to it. Perfectly fine. Curl it up, that type of thing, be good to go. Be thankful it's 8 and not 6, right? So, like with ground rods, 8 may be a little bit easier to deal with, right?
I think everything we're seeing in 680 associated with any kind of equipotential bonding.
Oh, you are going to use that word now.
8. Yeah.
Okay, he's going to use
it. It crept in here, so again, we just caution everybody, right? Stay here to accomplish the equipotential bonding. Why these requirements in this section, and don't drift over the 680/20.
Don't drift over. All right, so lastly, 680.75 GFCI protection. Now, this was before in the one with the branch circuit, right? It was all correct. one big sentence when we looked at this.
Looking at link here, it has the N next to it, which means it's new. It is literally new here. 680.75, but the information came from the branch circuit language that we previously looked at.
So it just broke it up.
Yeah, and I think the concept when we looked at this was, well, the title of that other section was branch circuit. Why do we have GFCI requirements mixed in with a branch circuit requirement? We really should carve out the GFCI requirements to be standalone.
Sure.
And that's why we just took the language, and I don't think we changed the language. We'd have to compare it to 2023.
Shortened,
but
because I even think in the old language, and I don't know if clicking new will bring it up. No, so it's new right here. But as we always do, folks, we have the ability to go to 2023 and look at it, and you'll see what we're talking about. Let me go and switch, and I'll switch y'all over here. Let me go and get there. See, Vince, the folks that watch us on Coffee Hour are very familiar with my sloppy nature of going back and forth into the code to different areas. So they're already well familiar with the fact that I have to scroll through all this stuff. They're like, yeah, it's just Paul. He's fine.
Well, this is,
so there you go.
We didn't spend hours rehearsing this morning by any means.
Absolutely not. Who freaking does that?
And we go for it, right?
Who rehearses? Everybody, these folks on here know that I don't rehearse stuff. I just go live. We're doing live. All right, so here. Did I go out of something here? Let's see here. Okay. No,
I don't know what you do.
Hold on. Let me get to where. Okay, Hydromassage. Okay. So here in the protection, which we changed to just be titled branch circuit.
Are you going to share that?
Oh, yeah. I probably should do. Dude,
People are just looking at me,
people are looking at me.
water here.
That ain't the first time I've done that too. All right. So here is.
This is the 2023 language.
This is 2023. Right? Now it's titled just branch circuit because it's focusing on the branch circuit, right? But all this stuff about the GFCI, all this other stuff about, all this stuff, all this stuff is not there anymore.
So
it's just about the circuit.
Right. But in the 2023, this is saying 125 volt single phase receptacles not exceeding 30 amps and located within 6 foot of the tub really have to be GFCI protected. Okay. So let's see what the 2026 language says.
So this is what, but I wanted to point, there's that. And notice that there is no 75.
Right.
Okay. So that's what it is. So this was the language before, right? And so now we'll go to the 2026. And I'll sloppily have to go because Vince, I didn't duplicate it.
So you should have another window open.
Don't tell me how to do my show, bro. Okay, don't.
That's it. I'm not coming back here anymore. I can't work like this.
It can't work. So like that, folks. He's telling me how to run my damn shit. What is wrong with you? All right, so here is 680.71 branch circuit. Okay, and they took everything out of here when it comes to about the GFCI, the receptacle, distances, got rid of all that, and just says that it's got to be a branch circuit and it's can serve no other loads. Okay, it's no different than saying individual branch circuit because it's basically saying that it can serve no other loads. It can only serve,
which is the definition of an individual branch circuit.
Yep. So makes sense. Okay, so we're trying to clean that up, make it easy. So here, I noticed that. So Vince, it looks like they got rid of any reference to distances.
Yeah. So this is what's this saying? Hydromassage bathtubs and their
associated electrical components
shall be protected by. So this is actually talking about the tub itself. It's not talking about receptacles within 6 foot or a 30 amp threshold that was previously in the NEC.
So what I think the reason is if this, obviously these are typically in a bathroom. Now, is it possible, Vince, that these may not ever be in a bathroom? It could if this is the only thing in a room and there's no sink, because you have to have a sink or basin and a tub or a toilet or a bidet, whatever. So again,
some hotel
but we have
rooms,
requirements in 210.8a, for example, that says within so many feet
of
the bathtub. And this is a bathtub. It may be a hydromassage bathtub, but it is still a bathtub. So I think the concept here for the code panel was, why do we need to regurgitate what's already required?
Exactly. 210.8a for dwellings, or B, other than dwellings. Those are all receptacle-driven requirements. Has all the bathroom language, like you said. But if they're not in the bathroom, if it's the heart-shaped jacuzzi, if it's the heart-shaped hydromassage bathtub in the middle of a hotel room,
it still would require, because the code back in there says within a certain distance, 6 feet of bathtubs or shower stalls have to be the receptacles have to be GFCI.
So this would be other than dwelling. Yep. So you're referencing the 210.8b language.
Yeah, there's language in there too, so we can go look at that because it's always good to look at that. So if we
this language is saying absolutely the tub has to be GFCI protected.
Yeah, and that would be the motor, the pump, circulating, any associated other equipment. Obviously, it's going to be. If we look at 210.8 here, and again, dwelling, it's easily covered. Obviously, bathrooms, but if it an area, let's say,
you want to share that?
Oh yeah, I probably should do that. I should probably share this. How did I ever get along without you?
Come here more.
All right, so here's the bathtubs and shower stalls, okay, where receptacles are installed within 6 feet of the outside edge, unlike the sink. We're at the top inside edge. Here it says bathtub and shower stalls where receptacles are installed within 6 feet of the outside edge of the bathtub or shower stall. So that's going to cover it.
This is 8A or 8B?
No, I'm just saying this is A first because we could have it in a dwelling.
Yeah, just want to make sure everybody knows what we are.
And then B, we have the same here. bathtubs and shower stalls where receptacles are installed within 6 feet of the outside edge of the bathtub or shower stall. So we've got it covered, whether it's A or B, it's covered. And the one thing, and I think Vince pointed out, is the reason he was saying that one in 75 is talking specifically about the Hydromassage bathtub is because A and B here are receptacle driven, right? So you could also have, regardless of whether that Hydromassage motor is a cord and plug or hardwired, assuming you could do it, it has to be GFCI protected. So, it's in here, A and B that we just looked at, that's receptacle driven. Okay. So, David says, in his opinion, the GFCI receptacle under the tub is not readily accessible. Okay. Well, I would agree. For example, receptacles that are underneath sinks are not readily accessible because you have to bend down and climb under and get under the sink. Okay. Now, the question is whether or not you have the access hole in the receptacles facing it, and the GFCI is used there. You put a GFCI there. If you're not having to climb in anything. So if it's just removing cover and it's not connected to the surface, it's not screwed in. It's just just a tight fit, and you can literally move it. I've seen those where it's just basically just fits right in. It's got molding around it. It just fits in. It just pulls right off. There's nothing screwing it on. So, I mean, you could argue that the receptacle was right there and you don't have to go in it. You just reach down. You might even not even reach in a couple inches and you can test it right there. I mean, I'd be hard pressed to say that that's not readily accessible. I mean,
it's not. This whole concept of these receptacles in these locations, whether it's under the sink or under this, or in this, or close to this access door panel, in my experience traveling across the country, not uniformly agreed upon, like not even close amongst.
I've had people tell me.
AHA. So how do you circumvent that? You put a nice Siemens circuit breaker, ground fault circuit interrupter breaker, which is pretty much always
dual
readily
function,
accessible.
get all kinds of good protection.
If folks, and I've said this many times, folks, you want to have these discussions with your local AHA, you want to try and spot a GFCI receptacle somewhere. I'm not saying don't do it. It would certainly meet the requirement. Just double check with your AHA first that they're going to buy into that location where you're putting it is readily accessible. If they feel it is, great. Put the receptacle down there, the GFCI receptacle. You've met the requirement. Time to move on and go do something else.
Yeah.
But you may want to pick another battle to have a lengthy discussion about this.
Yeah, and I think David, what he means too is if I had an access hole and I had a GFCI that was right there and it was just right there, and I moved the cover and boom, I just hit it. I think that people would probably just. I'm not going to get into the semantics of it too bad with it, but again, I can see where somebody would put one down underneath in there, and again, obviously, if it's further back than 1 foot, that's a problem anyway.
That's right, because we have that line. We looked at that line.
So when you think about readily accessible, what it says in the code, it says capable of reaching quickly for operation, renewal, and inspection without those requiring ready access to take action such as use tools other than keys. So again, it's tight fit. It just pushes in like a box. Fits in there. It just sits in place. You're not screwed in. Okay, let's assume that's done. It's not screwed in place. To climb over or under. So I'm not climbing under it. I'm just removing the cover and reaching it. Right, just reaching my hand in it. Okay, so I'm not doing any of these things right here. Right. To remove obstacles. Okay, so is that an obstacle? I don't know.
I've heard it discussed that cans of cleaning fluids under the sink
in front of it,
in front of receptacles. Well, those are obstacles because someone has to reach in there and move them and take the bottles out of the way. And I guess by a literal reading of the words, you can make that argument. So
where would we go to find the definition of obstacle?
Well, it's not the NEC, so the NFPA regulations tell us somewhere in the manual of style, a style manual, point us to Webster's Collegiate Dictionary. I don't remember the edition that it's supposed to be. I know I have one in my office next to my desk if you need to reference it. But again, you know,
Yeah, David's right. 90.4. Already having jurisdictions going to make the decision.
yeah,
right?
they'll make the call. And, you know, if you want to go through this as an installer, you want to, you know, force the issue, putting a receptacle somewhere, go ahead and have the discussion and see where it winds up. Maybe you are.
Does Siemens make receptacles?
We do not make receptacles.
Boom! There you go. If Vince is inspecting it, he's going to say, you know, I think you should put a Siemens. You know, oh, the panel's not a Siemens. I think you need a panel change.
Yeah, the whole panel upgrade. You might as well knock the building down and start over.
Start over again. Yeah, so great point, David. I think the HJ is going to have to make that call personally if it's an access and it's just a press fit cover on it with the molding around it. I've seen plenty of those where they don't screw it in place. It just pushes on it. It comes off very easily. Yeah. The receptacles within 1 foot, you know, that type of thing. And I don't have a problem. To that point, Vince, I've actually heard people argue, and you got to have some leeway here. Discuss, argue, have a passionate discussion about our GFCI that's on the countertop. And since it's in the back of the countertop and the whole counter's in front of you, and you can't get to it, you have to reach over the countertop to get to it, that they'll argue under that same concept that now the GFCI is not readily accessible because you have to climb over or reach over the work surface. I don't think anywhere that I've ever had somebody bring that argument or an inspector fail that, because I would say, come on, you can still reach it, okay? You know, unless it's up on a normal counter and your inspector's a little person, you know, then they ain't going to get to it. They're not going to be able to get to it.
Yeah, I haven't heard that one, but no. I would agree. I would be hard pressed if I'm the HA to make that call.
So I use that same logic for this, even though it is an obstacle. I don't know. My level of obstacle is if you put a GFCI receptacle in a kitchen and it's behind a refrigerator. That's not readily accessible because that refrigerator has to be moved. And I always use this rule is and she's long dead, but if I had a 90-year-old grandmother, and we know that everybody out there tests your GFCIs every month because y'all are very diligent in making sure that all your devices work right? Okay, you know, and you exercise your breakers and your panel every month so that they're nice and I know you all do that, right? Okay. So in this scenario is if my 90-year-old grandmother, which I guess you'd be more like 100, but would she remove that refrigerator out of the way? And people say, but it's on wheels. It's not readily accessible. It's an obstacle. Do I believe that a simple cover that you move off is an obstacle? Well, it is. It's impeding my access to the device, but I don't know that it's enough, right? That I would It's not my hill that I'm going to die on.
Exactly.
Right.
I'd say
refrigerator, yes. Too big, too heavy to move. Yes, you're not going to test it, you know. But access, nah, you know.
Oh, I know it's off topic, but the Siemens is the only brand GFCI breaker that
I wasn't going to say that. I wasn't going to mention that one. But there you go. He says it's the only one that doesn't trip with a variable speed pool pump.
And I've heard that. I've heard our breakers.
Maybe it's because the folks that install the Siemens ones know where to install it on a variable speed pool drum. You know.
Yeah, we've got some new language associated with that folks have to be familiar with when you have a variable speed.
Although I guess it doesn't matter with the breaker. That's more like the device, like a receptacle, right? Because that's the only place you would have in that new language is between the variable speed drive.
Talking about the breaker's not the receptacle.
I know, but I'm thinking that one that talks about where you put the GFCI that causes a problem, that's between the variable speed controller and the motor. You can't have it there. So, but even in this case, he's saying that even when you're doing it the right way at the breaker, the only one that holds, okay? Shout out to Siemens. Praise it. All right, folks, okay. All right, let's spin the wheel and give some stuff away. Hopefully, remember, guys, do a #win. #win, get you in on the spin. Let's go on and do that. I've got some stuff that we want to spin the wheel. Huh?
I'm not entered.
You can't win.
Oh, I don't get free stuff?
No, you don't get free stuff. All right, so we'll give you a free. I'll give you a money clip or whatever it is we got. All right,
Put some money in the money clip.
No, it's empty. All right, let's spin the wheel and let's do some stuff here. Giveaways. Let's go. Go. This, or I think you already won this. We just haven't figured out how to do these, set these up yet. So let's spin again for you. I think you actually already won that. No music this time. Do it live. All right, Terrence, you're in the drawing for the hat clip. Y'all seen these right here? These are available. The hell is it? There it is. Oh, right there it is, right there. Available on the website. If you're interested in that, we will put the address to a website, whatever you want, Linktree, whatever you want. We'll do that. So there you go, Terrence. You're in the drawing for that. And here you go. All right, let's do it again. Who's next? If you put hashtag win in the chat box, and you may get it. All right, David, you're on. You have 2023 NEC flashcard. You're in the drawing for the electronic flashcards. All right. By the way, have any of you out there already checked out the NEC quiz mobile app yet over on necquiz.com? Again, you can get some practice exams, things like that. It is available. It's free. It doesn't cost you squat. Go check it out. Let's do it again. Already have a subscription to Fast Tracks Tube, so you have an option of extending it out from this point a year. You can do that, or we can spin again. You can let us know, but I got you down as Fast Tracks Tube. You let me know what you want, and we're going to spin again for somebody else. This is an instant win, so you already have an account. So just send it to winner, WINNERS, I believe it is. Yeah, winners at fasttracksystem.com. And we will, or however you send it to us, and we will get that activated inside of your profile. And that is the NEC exam prep questions. I believe it's 25 exam prep type questions. So we'll get you in that as well. So that's Jonathan. And you may already have that as well, Jonathan. I don't know. But that is your 2023 NEC prep questions. Gotcha. All right, let's do one more and we'll get back and close this thing out. Okay? All right, Brandon, you want to extend it out? All right, we will do it. I'll make a note of that. We'll extend yours out. Because it is expanding. You're going to be able to watch the 680 series over there on the drawing for the free 2023 grounding and bonding course. All right, so you're in the drawing for that. Okay. All right, let's take it back to us. So Vince, I'm glad you could join me here. Thank you for coming up. We're doing some videos on 680. It's a lot. I think that we're still doing it. We're only up to part 2, almost through part 2. but there's a lot of stuff still left to cover. But I appreciate you taking the time and joining me here. Last time he was with me, we were in Texas. So this is his trip to Virginia here, out in the sticks, in my expansive studio. Right?
World headquarters.
World headquarters.
Master the NEC. There's people all over the place. There's loading dock out back, and trucks and bling going out the door, and there's all kinds of activity.
All kinds of it's a hustle and bustle of being, just the epicenter of code. Is that what we'll call it? All right. All right, folks, everybody, thank you as always. I appreciate you joining us here on Coffee
Hour and a half.
The hell is in this stuff? Okay. I'm just saying, I got spiked coffee today. Thanks for joining me on Coffee Hour, folks. Till next time, stay safe. God bless, and we'll catch you on another episode next week of Coffee Hour. Vince will not be here. Okay.
That is correct.
He's not coming. All right, so take care. God bless.
All right, bye everybody.